This is CN.
U.S. and Iranian officials are in contact almost every day.
Bipolar disorder is a mental illness.
There are a lot of people here.
The train of death. Right now it's getting hooked up with other cars that start its journey up.
Today, it's a different story. Overwhelmingly, the number of superheroes out there are white.
Here are the 3 pieces of equipment you need to know for the 777.
One pot shop owner says he sees about 10,000 customers every month.
Let's not get confused between global temperature change and weather.
We're about right now to head into San Quentin. This is a high security prison.
For Joe Biden, an evenly divided Senate would, as he might say, literally be a big deal.
We're going to have 60 different builds of the LEAP engine before we enter service. That'll accumulate about 40,000 cycles.
The weird thing is I'm doing camera and he's bringing food.
That's right.
Customers, they won't know whether they're drinking desalinated water or not. A lab at the University of Illinois has reported initial success in using nanotechnology.
I'm Dahani.
Let's talk about marijuana and your brain. This will shock you.
Do my daughters really need to see me hammered?
We are really at a place where content and the products are really blurring together. And so what you see there is our talent, right? You saw Anthony Bourdain kick it off, but the talent, the producers, the reporters, and they're really flowing between these different platforms. And sometimes, yes, they're on television. Sometimes, yes, they're on a digital platform. But this notion of television is really a state of mind. TV is something that you want to do, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a 10-foot device. It can very well be your mobile device, and we're seeing that more and more. So what that video does, which is so, I mean, first of all, the video is so exciting to watch anyway. But then what it represents is kind of symbolically all the films, franchises, and original programming that's happening on CNN, in addition to what we've always done and that we continue to do, which is world-class, worldwide, global breaking news. And so I'm glad that you got a chance to see that. We talked a little bit about that in a prior session, but it does set up well what I want to talk to you about, which is this notion of TV. And what is TV, and what is CNN Go? We actually have quite a few different products that we're working on, obviously, at the same time. And Go is one of them. We have one of our product leads here, Laura. We have Lexus, one of the biggest sponsors and kind of at the heart of our R&D and innovation along with Canon. So I'm going to show you kind of the product and as well as kind of how we got there over the last 2 years. 2 years ago, we really set out to reinvent TV news, and in some ways reinvent just how people watch TV. And the product is just the first step. I don't want to pretend that it's a panacea or that it's necessarily going to transform the way we watch television, but it definitely is a glimpse into where things are going as you look at the consumers and advertisers and our affiliates, our TV providers that distribute all this content. So my group, which is the Chief Product Office, the people that are involved in it, is a mixture, and it's a new role. The role didn't exist even 4 or 5 months ago, and you often see this role with more new media organizations. So it was a big step for CNN to even identify that product was something that we needed to focus on a global level that crossed all mediums, that crossed all platforms. And so what the group of technologists, strategists, business operations and business strategists, along with product managers, what they do is they are thinking day and night about how consumers are getting the news now and in the future. That is critical, getting inside their shoes. And then, of course, with the advertisers, how are these advertisers reaching them in a really authentic way, and whether that's a combination of the experience, the creative, the targeting, it's all related to the advertiser and how advertisers connect with the audiences that matter and audiences that care. And then ultimately, we can talk about that in the generic, but really, what is the CNN signature way of doing it? What is the winning strategy? What is the product that only we can create? What is our asymmetry in the marketplace? How are we differentiated? What are the things that only CNN can do? So on the topic of TV, you've seen a lot of apps, and they're really, and in this mix, and I don't mean to pick on anyone, a number of these apps don't exist already, and some of them are even in the Turner family. Turner is the larger corporate company to CNN. And so we've all been experimenting with companion apps or second screens or whatever you want to call them, interactive TV. And so one of the problems with various apps is that they are one app for one show on one network at one moment in time. And it asks a lot of the consumer. Grab this, hold this while you're looking at this, to watch this, to make sure it's synchronized with this. Oops, I'm off. Wait, I'm watching there. I'm looking down. And it's not an easy experience. It's not an enjoyable experience. It's clever, but we can do better. It's also hard to get these things to talk, and it's actually no one's fault. There is inconsistency about the delivery systems, and the way that these devices listen is sometimes hard to synchronize. And so you may want a synchronous experience, you may want an asynchronous experience, but in general, it's been an area that people struggle with. And then at the end of the day, one, you have to ask yourself, do they want to interact? And if they do want to interact, the consumer, then what is that like? Is that like a really meaningful level of interaction? Like, is it just a Twitter stream along the right rail where people are kind of saying things unfiltered, or is it something bigger or better than that? So before we began the process, first we looked at what others had done. And the thing that seemed to be missing in some of these apps was empathy, was really understanding where people are in their day. What are they doing? What device? A few of the panels and speakers have addressed this directly. And so some of it's data, some of it's targeting, but really understanding the audience. And if you understand where they are and what they want, then you know if you should give them a breaking news alert. If you give them a breaking news alert, you should give them an option to watch it now or watch it later. What are the different things that they need, and how can we help them? And so, one, we looked at what others had done. Two, we identified what was really missing. And then we really looked at kind of the marketplace. What's happened over the last 50, 60 years, right? So the remote control, Zenith's remote control in the 1950s, profound, right? Changed the way that people ate potato chips, because they would now watch TV and become a couch potato. And here they were with a remote control. Very big change. VCR, or Betamax, depending upon who was going to win. But at the end of the day, the ability to record something, maybe not necessarily change the time on the clock, but definitely record a program that you wanted if you weren't home. And then finally, there were others who had time-shifted content. We saw on-demand content come about on cable operators and TV providers. We've seen with the Hopper, for example, the ability to skip commercials. We've seen with TiVo the ability to intuit what you might want to watch. And they all had one thing in common: control. And linear TV is the opposite of control. Linear TV is what we want you to watch, the way we want you to watch what we want, when, and where. And sometimes that's just fine if you want to lean back and watch TV and be entertained. But often, you want to control what you watch, when you watch it, where you watch it, how you watch it. And so what role did that kind of larger meme, that larger kind of notion play out in TV news? So we looked at what the competition had done. We looked at what was missing. We looked at what happened over the last 60 years. And then finally, we looked at that asymmetry, right? What can CNN do that no one else can do? What have we done? What is our essence? And our essence is being essential, 360 degrees, identifying the most important stories, and important can mean different things to different people, right? Particularly in a day and age where personalization is so important. But what stories do you need to know about, and how do we tell you those stories from around the world 24/7? It doesn't matter where the story happens, when the story happens, CNN is always there. So how do we take that, something that we've been doing for 35 years, and also bring together the editorial and technology heft to do something extraordinary? Because the editorial is clearly there, and we at CNN actually build a lot of our own technology. In fact, this product that we're going to talk about, we couldn't have given any vendor $11, $20, $30 million to build it, because it really meant if we wanted to do the product right, we needed to be inside our company, inside our control rooms, do something that no one else could do to tap into the infrastructure that existed at CNN. And it wasn't a matter of just giving somebody a lot of money to build an interesting app. So that's what we did. It embraces our essence, and it looks for the ways that audiences are now consuming the news, and in the ways that our advertisers and our TV providers are reaching that audience. That was the mission. That was the goal. So before I play this video, and we'll bring the audio up. So this is a 30-second promotional ad that we did around the product, because you actually still don't know what the product is, which is always a struggle 15 minutes in. But I want to show you the product very briefly, what it is. The idea, just to set it up, because it's going to go very quickly, is we wanted to give control back to the consumer and think about the ways they would watch TV. So this is essentially a parody of how people think about television, how they might want to watch television if they truly could control television. So I'll play it.
3, 2, 1, let's go to VTR5.
Can we see that New Day piece from earlier on caffeine and exercise?
Set exercise, play, and cut.
And then how about we look at this other thing from Dr. Sanjay Gupta on vegan diets?
No problem, set diets, play.
Screw it. Play Anthony Bourdain, I can take it. Ooh, there it is. Oh, it's hot. Oh.
Introducing CNN Go. Watch what you want, when you want, live or on your own time.
It's so spicy.
So this is CNN Go. I'm going to show you what Laura and the rest of the team have been working on is the next iteration, which is coming out, which no one has seen. You're the first people to see it, and it's coming out in the next few months. But this is the iteration right now. In order to get CNN Go, you have to have a TV provider credential. So essentially, you have to pay for cable. You have to pay for CNN, but by paying for CNN and watching it at home on your television domestically, you can then get credentials, pay nothing additional, and watch CNN on your mobile device. And so what you see here is an iPad. And what's different is, yes, television is in the upper right, but on the left is the rundown. So the rundown is really a term of art in news, which many of you are probably familiar with, which is essentially what is coming up and what has happened already. Every single story. So there is no way to track every single story in real time in an easy way. Trust me. I know all the people that worked on it. This is, if you've ever been in a control room, in the control room, it is madness, particularly if it's breaking news. They do something called blowing up the rundown, which is essentially they spend 7 hours creating every single story, writing every single story, booking every guest, getting everyone in makeup, breaking news happens, and they throw it all out and they start over in real time. And so we wanted to create a product that was that good. We wanted a product that actually thrived in breaking news, that got better. Most second screen apps broke. They didn't work. It didn't make sense unless it was previously recorded 3 weeks ago and they set up a synchronization app. So what we do is we essentially give you every single story in the last 24 hours. We have producers in control rooms around the country tracking every single show, every single piece, and every single segment, and identifying when a segment begins and when a segment ends, and give you the ability to go back to any of those segments, because When you tune into CNN, you might be interested in that story, or you might want to start that story over, or you might want to start that show over, or you might want to start that day over. And now you can find any segment we've done quickly and watch it back, all in live, all in real time. The other magic of this, and again, no computer can do that, right? You have to be inside every single control room to do that. So people sitting on the line with great technology are essentially tracking every single frame of television and delivering it upstream, from upstream all the way downstream to the consumer. And so you get that. But what you also get is everything that we know about that story. Remember what we said about the essence of CNN? It's 24 hours, it's global, right? We give you the context. So you have the personalization to watch what you want to watch, when you want to watch it, how you want to watch it, but you also get the context. You get the context of knowing, oh, in this particular story, CNN.com wrote 3 articles, have 4 galleries, have 3 related videos. Like, no one's been able to really crack that, have they? Right? When you're on TV, watching TV, you might hear the anchor say, oh, and if you want more, go to CNN.com/Iran, CNN.com/ISIS. And you would then have to pull out your laptop and identify that and find the related information. But we don't do it that way, not with this. In real time, we're curating, atomizing, and annotating every single thing that we do on TV. And so if we have 3 stories, actually, if we have 20 stories, but only 3 of them are the most relevant at that moment in time, an editor is in a room for you, taking those stories, putting it in a carousel along the bottom, along with the related videos and photographs, so that you can get the entire story. And you know what? If you don't want any of that, then you can just pinch that screen and watch the video full screen and watch that story full screen. And maybe you don't want this full cockpit view. But the point is that we felt we could do better. We felt that if there was a story that you wanted to connect with, that here was a way to do that. So what you see here is on the left, what I just showed you. On the right is kind of where we're going. You can see that we've done lots of usability tests. We've connected with a lot of different individuals. We've worked on many different designs, and we haven't shown this around yet, but the ability to get a bigger screen to identify the related content in a simple way. We have added find, so the ability to search all the segments to find the particular segment or story that you're looking for. I'm going to show you a little bit about on-demand, which is critical. In the previous segment, they were talking about OTT, but the ability to find on-demand content. You saw that video that started this off, which was really all about films and franchises. Well, now we have a really easy way for you to find and discover all of those terrific programs that appear on television and on digital, or maybe it's unclear where they appeared, but there's something that are interesting for you to watch. And so, we're really excited, and like I said, no one's seen this yet, but we're really excited about kind of the direction that we're going with the product. And so, again, find, ability to go to any show, to look at different channels. We have live streaming of HLN, of CNN, and we may add other channels. And then, again, that's schedule, that ability to go to any segment and watch any segment in the last 24 hours. And then on the on-demand side, something that we have never had until now is the ability to really go to a particular show, whether it be Bourdain, our specials in the 60s, Morgan Spurlock, and a really true on-demand offering, because that's what CNN's doing right now. That's much different than what we were doing even 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And so people are tuning in for our programs, our prime time, particularly around breaking news, and then a lot of on-demand. And this is really exciting as well, too. So this just gives you an illustration of what you can do with an advertiser like Alexis that gets it, that wants to try things, that takes a chance. They can be natively inside this experience. They're not an add-on. It's not a banner ad. It's not a pre-roll that you have to endure right before watching a short clip. This is taking the advertiser, putting them inside the mobile experience, and giving them something that's authentic. It's leveraging the tool that we've built for the advertiser. So now the advertiser can tell a story. The advertiser can say, look at our new Lexus. Here is all the related content. See the photos. order a car, whatever the case may be. And so we're just honestly just thrilled with the new execution, much more bold. I love what they've done, and really showing consumers what you can learn about this particular product or service. We squeeze back the video in the corner, but again, it is really a different way of doing advertising. It's really a way of bringing those experiences to the consumer for the advertiser in an authentic way that connects, that has value. So the last thing I want to just show you is a little bit of data, if it'll give it to me. Let's see. It's thinking. Sometimes the builds take a little while. So how's it doing? Do people even like it? Maybe we did all our research and maybe we were wrong. And we were wrong in certain areas too, right? We've learned more from our consumers than anyone in just watching their behavior and how they use this product and what they like and what they don't like. But what we have seen is that on the left, about May 14 is when we launched the product. So we had a TVE product, an ability essentially to watch the simulcast, to watch CNN on your iPad before. That came out 2 to 3 years ago. I was involved with launching that with a different team, and that was great. You could watch CNN TV on your iPad. But as you can see in May, it was at one place, and then when we added the CNN Go features, we've seen, this is in hours, as recently as January, 1.6 million hours of time spent with our consumers on the particular product. So CNN Go has been, so far, a great success story, but I would admit that it's still very early, and we're learning a lot more too. And I think that the new user interface is going to really take us even further. The final thing I'll share with you is how much engagement we're seeing. 85 minutes per unique daily. Right? On the web, 107 minutes. The uniques, so an individual comes in and over the course of a month will spend, on a daily basis, 107 minutes. I mean, that's a remarkable amount of time for someone to be engaged in news. And so for us, that is going to be critical as we look at measurement across mobile and how people essentially watch television. And with that, I think we were going to sit down and talk a little bit, but that's what I wanted to show you. So thank you.